Wait, okay, I don't something
What happened, madam?
my share. Actually, something is not responding with our system. Just how do you share screen? This okay, share. Something. Something I could not trace out the share option. No, it is coming to what to shares with the Google Meets that share.
Actually, madam, I
Ah,
have gave the permission. You can share now. I
uh-huh.
have sent you message, madam. Kindly send. Kindly see once your WhatsApp.
Actually, yeah, you have already given me the windows to join and share. That I agree. Entire screen. So I have to go to the entire screen.
Then
Then the thing is that the share one it is not active. So I'm having issue.
yes, madam. Now okay na. Minimize your screen. Minimize your screen.
The thing is that I cannot come up with my particular PPT.
No, no. First minimize your screen, madam.
Minimize my screen. Everything.
Ha. Ha.
Okay, okay.
Now open your
So now
PPT.
it's
Yes.
madam,
Ha.
maybe my okay, okay. It's coming, right?
Yeah. Cross, madam.
Yeah, it has to come in the full screen, right?
Presentation mode. That's it.
This
बगल वाला. बगल वाला. Yes. यही. बगल वाला, मैडम. और बगल वाला. नहीं, राइट साइड पे. और राइट साइड यही वाला. हाँ.
this one, no?
No,
No, no.
no, no. हाँ.
Yeah, it's coming in the full screen, right?
हाँ.
It's coming in the full screen, I think.
हाँ. इसको
Yeah,
और
yeah.
हाइड कर दीजिए, मैडम. आइकन
Uh,
को क्रॉस कर दीजिए. क्रॉस कर दीजिए.
let me cross that.
हाँ.
Okay, okay. So it's now it's visible, right, in the full
हाँ.
screen.
हाँ, मैडम.
So
भेजिए.
once again, good evenings to the organizing teams and also to the participants on this 21 days summer school. So my topics on the regulations of flowerings in the commercial flower crops. I am Dr. Kwerakam Lily Devi, Assistant Professor, Horticulture, Scholars of Agriculture under the Central Agriculture University, Imphal, Pasighat campus, Arunachal Pradesh. So coming to the topics first, I would like to brief out what is the first the terms the flowers regulations. So flower regulation is am I audible? I hope to all the participants, friend. Hello. Yes, hello, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Audible, right?
You are audible.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. So the flower regulation is the forcings, or we can say the productions of the flowers to the specific time period, no, to the specific time period, rather than the normal productions times. By doing so, what we do, what we ultimately get the benefit is that we are able to supply the flowers in a time specific with the demands on the markets, and also we get the higher price of our fresh produce. So there is a all about the flower forcings or the flower regulations. Coming to the objectives of the flower regulations, the first objective is to avoid spoilage due to the excessive productions at a particular time. Then second object is making the produce available at desired time. That means as per our the required time periods, when as and when demands, we are able to supply by doing the forcings to the flowers. Also, it avoids dangers of the epidemics, any form of the outcome outbreaks of the epidemics, to generate employments throughout the years. Okay, so by these techniques or the methods of the crop forcing or the regulations, we are able to produce the flowers throughout the years. For that reasons, we are able to generate the employments throughout the years. And also it helped to reduce imports from the outside countries, and also able to balance the trades. Now, we are also able to not reducing the amounts of the input, and also we are able to supplies our fresh produce to the others foreign markets. And also the last, this has benefits to particular the growers, to the farmers. It give a double farm incomes, as it is we are able to produce off seasons flowers, that is as per desired timings we are producing. And ultimately there are the flowers being supplied during the off seasons will face a higher price. Then what are the techniques that we are going to follow in the flower forcings or the regulation? Is that the first one, the method is the physiological methods. The second, chemical regulations, physical regulations, and then cultural operations. And major factors, that is the genetic factors, also have a quite uh, the factors that is controlling on the flowers regulations. Now, first coming with the physiological methods, that we know that our the plants, they are having a different the compositions on in its plant, so to say, the having internal biological uh, complexes or the compositions, and ultimately they have a different phases of their growths, right from the stage of the initials to it has come to the initials of the maturity stage, that is the internet, that is also, and many of the hormones also controlling in regulating of the flowers. So they are the internal factors. Then coming to the external factors, environment factors, and major we are concerned about the photoperiods and the vernalizations. So the ultimately the flowers, we get the flowers when we get the flowers when we get the flowers when the vegetative growth phase has changed into a reproductive phase, that is controlled by the internal and the external factors. So internal factors, the plant internal biological compositions, and different stages of the plants, that is the advanced growth stages, that also having a quite role in the regulations. Hormones play a very signals or the message passings for changing the vegetative to the reproductive stage. Then photoperiods, the light factors that is affecting the regulations of the flowers. Then a low temperature treatment, that is the vernalizations. Then coming to the when we are getting a signals the plants to change to the vegetative to the reproductive phase, that is due to the fluorescence hormones. Okay, these fluorescent hormones that is produced when the leaf becomes matures, or when the apical points of the growing that is becoming mature and that has changed phase to a reproductive phase, that is due to the signals or due to the response that is in due course of the receivings of the critical day lengths, that is the photoperiods. These fluorescence, they have the given a signals to comes to our flowerings. One is vernalin. This is the hormones that also associated with the cold temperature treatments. That is when we have placed the plants under the low temperature treatments, they ultimately releases this vernalin. It's also inducing the flowerings in the plant. Now coming to the different flowering processes that is taken place in particular to the, first of all, I'm coming to the bulbous groups of the flowers. So there are different flowering processes, or we say that the five successive stages that the plants they have come to a flowerings. The first is that they have inductions. Inductions, then it has the next, that is the initiations, then organogenesis, then maturations, followed by certain developments of the floral parts and goes to the anthesis. So what is induction? Induction, it is the first stage where the plant receives the signals to flowers. Okay, what are the signals? That is, the signal may come from the when the plant has been exposed to a certain critical day length, or may also have a role by the treatments by the low temperature, that is a vernalization. So this is induction is nothing that is the first stage where plant has received the signals to initiate the flowering. Then coming to the initiation, what is the initiation? Initiation is that the shoot apical meristem, that is of the vegetative growing stage point, there have turns that ultimately the vegetative meristem has changed to a reproductive meristem, that is called the initiations. The first, ultimately in the initiation, what happens? The first flower primordiums, that is begins to form. Coming to the organizes, that is differentiations of the different floral part that is being taken place, maybe different parts of the flower primordia that is come into appearance, the petals, developments of the petals, stamens, sepals, and then the carpels. These are the different floral part, they have come into uh, developments. Okay, so that is the organogenesis. Then coming to the maturations and the ultimately the growth and developments of the measure of the flower parts. That means the flowers organs, they have increased in the size, and they have ultimately end to the maturations. Then ultimately our flowers opens, then it has reached to the anthesis, and where the flower, the full bloom flower, it is almost ready for the pollinations or the fertilizations. So these the flowering process, this is very much important for us to know much more in the details, in a better understanding, so that it is ultimately helping us in the forcings of the flowers. Now coming to the different stages of the flowers, that is the flower initiation and also the developments of the flower, that is taken place in particular to the bulbous groups of the flowers. The right hand side, that is symbols, okay, that is designated symbols, and to that against the symbols I am just giving a stage of the developments. So the first one and the two, that is common for all the groups of the flowers, from the vegetative meristem, that is formings of the leaf formation stage, that is called the vegetative meristems. Then the flowers initiations. Flower initiation means your the apical stem meristem, that is changed to a reproductive meristem, that is the part of the flower initiation. Then coming to the one of the flowers, particularly the flowers and the further developments from the stage 2, that is they come to the developments of the flower primordia, that is noticeable in case of the hyacinths or the lilium flowers. These are the bulbous group of the flowers. They are having a multiple flowers. And then species initiations, that is visible, that is in particular to the narcissus flowers. Then in the lilium flowers, what happened is that the flowers, they are comes into a developments of the breaks, spatials, leaf. These are all visible, that is soon after the initiation of the flower, the stage 2, that is in the liliums. Then in commons, what happens? All the secondary bracts, perianths, then the androeciums, gynoeciums, all these different developments of the plant, the floral parts, petals, or the tepals, stamens, the outers or the inner stamens, and then developments of the three carpels, the coronas, that is the ultimately the maybe the final developments of the floral part. That is, this is the different stage of the floral initiation till the final growth and the developments of the floral part, in particulars to the bulbous groups of the flowers. And the forcings in the bulbous groups of the flowers, they have a different phases. One is the first one is the production phase, program phase, greenhouse phase, and the marketing phase. The first one, production phase, is that before the forcings we need to get a good quality bulbs. all the bulbous groups of the flowers, the quality blooms and or the early blooms or difference, the the factors of the good quality, that all depends on the good quality size. Good quality means the size, and also the conditions, the this one, the healthy rhizomes or the combs or the bulbs that ultimately give the good flowers blooms at the end. That is when we are going ahead with the process of the flower forcings or the regulation. So production phase is nothing before we being started flower regulations or the forcings, we need to get a good quality bulbs. So this is what this is ultimately at the production phase of the bulbous groups of the flowers. We need to care, almost care, to get a good quality bulbs. So that is a production phase, and ultimately after the harvesting, we are now started with the forcings of the flowers in the program phase. In the program phase, what we all need to do, that is that first we harvested the bulb, then after the harvesting, they are before pre-planting, what we need to do, storings of the bulbs. Okay, storings of the bulbs, for these are storings in the low temperature treatments. Okay, then after low temperatures or the frozen treatments we used to do in the tulips flowers. So there are all the storage temperatures maintained in a low temperature or treatments before the storage that is given. Ultimately that is done for flowers primordiums for the initiation. Then after those treatments, we are again keeping all those the in particular to the helium flowers, we are keeping in a rooting medium, or the medium that is mostly we are placing under the moist conditions. Okay, so we are storing in the cold storage conditions, provided they are being frozen. That is the prime before the bulb that is being placed in the rooting medium, that is a moist medium, that is all come under the program phase. So we have done all the precautionary steps or the measures that has taken place before being planted in the greenhouse. So after the bulb, they are all given with the cold temperature treatment, storage in the low temperature. They are forced or they are allowed to root in the moist mediums. Then after they are being rooted, they are planted in the greenhouse. Okay, they are planted in a greenhouse, that is a greenhouse phase. So planted the bulbs, they are being planted in a greenhouse where we are growing under the greenhouse under the favorable climate conditions, under the favorable environment conditions. They are being grown under that conditions because of the favorable or the growing media or the environment conditions. That is all your light, temperatures, humidities, everything is controls. Under this we are able to get a flower, the elongated or a good qualities of the flower spike we are able to get. That is in the greenhouse phase, that is the production under the greenhouse. Then coming to the marketing phase. So we are doing the production in the greenhouse under the controlled environment. Months in the market, then we are going to hold our produce. So what we are doing in the marketing phase is that we are allowing the developments of the plants that is being carried out under the greenhouse until the produce is ready for market, and also until the produce is not much in a required in a. We may have certain controls environment, maybe we are maintaining much more lower temperature, so that we are able to produce, we are able to hold our produce till the or till it has reached to a ready of programming phase. Okay, so in particular to the bulbous plants, we two categories forcings or way of the programming production phase. The first one is the standard for. So this is particularly we practice in tulip and then narcissus flowers groups bulbous. In this happens, we are the bulbs of the a certain maintains to the, uh, they are the degrees the under the controls, then the shootings go, means we are allowing root development as well as the shoot developments in the standard forcing. So the bulbs are first they are placed in degrees Celsius, already allowed to start. and uh, the temperature is again further reduced to the 5 degrees Celsius until the shoot growth has attains to. So till attain to a 5 centimeter, we further from the 9 degrees Celsius to reduce tulips. Finally, the are kept at 0 to 2 degrees Celsius, minus 2 degrees Celsius to slow down the means we are holding forcings under the into the area. We are reducing certain low temperatures so growth it checks 5 centimeter. So this is coming phase of the standard forcing we normally call is a standard forcing that we practice in the tulip flowers. Then come spatial pre-cooling. In this case, we are not doing treatments to the bulk of low temperature treatments. We are certain treatments given directly. We in condition directly with no routings, no treatments. So what it is a special. We are considering a special pre-cooling technique to the bulbs. They are uh, to the and they are directly planted in a greenhouse without any root developments or and they are fathers allow for the development. This is we have forcings of the tulip. As I first I have mentioned that that is standard forcing. So the first the topmost is that we are being under a media. They are allowing to roots. They are allowing to develop to a certain height of the that is 5 centimeters. After that, the yeah to the the seconds and the last more come to a flower grow then the fermentation, then ultimately showing the peak flowerings. These are the different names of the colors of the tuberose that is ultimately suitable for the forcings of the flowers that is the regulations and with a specific time. And this is the vegetative and the reproductive stage of the tulip flowers, in particular to the tulip flowers. In general, I have groups of the flower. This is in the stages of the developments of vegetative to the reproductive stage in the tulip flowers. The in the tabulations, the left hand side it is a symbol of different stage growth given designated symbol, and in the right side descriptions of the flower initiations and then organogenesis with bulbs. So the first one and the two, that is the first one is the vegetative apex. That means they are still in the vegetative phase, but when it's raised to the second, ultimately your the vegetative meristem, the apical meristem, they are changed to a reproductive. That is a floral part or the floral part development initiation has started in the second phase. Then designated name has given P1, P2. What is that? The P1 is the developments of the first whole of the period. Then the P2 denotes that the developments of the second whole of the parents, and then A1, A2, that is ultimately developments of the first wholes of the androsia, that is the stamens. A2, that is the developments of the second whole of the androsia, that is also the second whole number, that is also the stamen. The last, that is a G, that is the developments of the trilob gynoecium. Now coming to the standard forcings techniques to the tulips. If you are doing a forcings regulations of the flower to a particular specific timing. So you want a early season blooming, you want a mid-season blooming, so the late season blooming. In that case, we are need to do the monitorings, when to harvest, when to do the certain sort of the storage, rootings, and then at the rootings, what are the temperature, and when we place to the greenhouse, what is the temperature we need to be maintained. So coming to the early bloomings, that is, we are expected to get a flower in the December, January. For this, we are going to harvest the bulb in the May, June. Then we are shifting this bulb to the treatments given for a 1 week at a temperature maintaining 34 degrees Celsius. under this temperature we are maintaining for a 1 week, a warm temperature treatments. Then again we are allowing, after this 1 week treatments, we are allowing a dry storage. Under the dry storage we are maintaining a temperature of 17 degrees Celsius, that is allowing up to the G stage. G stage is what? That is a that is the last stage of the floral part development. So till this we are allowing to the dry storage. Then coming to the wet storage, that is a moist media where we are going to clip the bulbs of the tulips for allowing to root developments. Under this we are keeping to a 9 degrees Celsius for 40 days. Then after passing the 40 days, we are shifting to the greenhouse production phase. In the greenhouse, we are going to maintain 13 to 15 degree Celsius. At the same way, in the mid-season blooming, February bloomings, we are expected to harvest the bulb the same time period, May, June. Then they are shifted to a dry storage. Here we are skipped to a warm temperature treatment, so to say, to the higher temperature 34. We are skipping directly, we are going to the dry storage 17 degrees Celsius up to a G stage. Then they are again given a this thing shifting to a routines media in the wet medium temperature maintains in a 9 degrees Celsius. Then again shifted to a much lower temperature maintains, that is a 5 degrees Celsius. Under this we are maintaining for 1 to 1.5 months. Then we are shifted to the greenhouse. The greenhouse temperatures remain the same, 13 to 15 degrees Celsius. At the same time, in the late seasons, April bloomings, we want a flower in the April. Then we are harvest the bulb. May, June, they are again dry stores in the 17 degrees Celsius up to a G stage. Then certain slow temperature treatments from the rooting, allowing rootings at 9 degrees Celsius, then shifted to a 5 degrees Celsius, then shifted to a 2 degrees Celsius, then ultimately transferred to a greenhouse productions, maintaining to the temperature 13 to 15 degrees Celsius. And sorry, I have so this is the different phases or the things that I have already given with the flow chart representations. The first one, the top one in the top figures, that is in the left side, that is when the bulb, they are given a media that is for the rooting, moist media. Then they are allowed to grow for a certain height of the shoots at the maximum 5 centimeters. They are being maintained under the rooting chambers. Again, from the rooting chambers, the sprouted bulbs, they are again cold stores with the that is your cold stores. They are being allowed with this before shifting for a certain time period. Then again the potted bulb, they are being shifted to the greenhouse, and this is when after shifting ultimately with the 13 to 15 degrees Celsius of the temperature being maintained in the greenhouse, and the production phase of the greenhouse, that is ultimately at the last. Showing the photographs. Now coming to the forcings of the Aster lily, that is Liliums longifloriums. The Aster lily, mostly they are of the white colors flowers. The name given Aster lily because these are the flower have a much demands during the Aster festival. So in forcing in the Aster lily is that the Aster's festival that falls on different dates every year, that is mostly come from March to the April months. And accordingly, we are classify the liliums, the uh, early esters that will give the flowers from the March 26 to the April 1st. Then medium esters groups of the lily, they are be flowering from the April 7 to the April 13th. Then the late April groups of the esters flowers, ester lily, that will bloom from the April 18 to the April 22. So for this forcing, what most important is that we are going to do the low temperature treatments, that these bulbs are vernalized at 4 to 7 degrees Celsius for 6 months prior to the plantings. Okay, so prior to the planting, they are given a low temperature treatments, vernalizations to the temperature 4 to 7 degrees Celsius. Then they are given to the they are shifted to the production phase of the greenhouse production. And the cultivar, they mostly suitable for the forcing, that is an Nels White and HE. These are the two cultivars. Now coming to the program system. So program system of the ester lily productions. The first in the program system, we could see the cooling prior to the potting. Okay, so this is we practice in general for all the productions, that may be production in the natural cooling environments or the production in the controlled temperature forcings or in a greenhouse space. We all need to do the coolings of the prior cooling prior to the potting. That means before the pottings, the lilium flowers they are doing the coolings. So the bulb coolings just on the arrivals, all the bulbs they will be cooled on the arrival, means when after the harvest they will be cooled at the temperature 4.5 to 7.5 degrees Celsius. At this certain low temperature, they are being kept for a durations of the 6 weeks in the moist medium. That is a moist soils. We will be keeping on top of this for a 6 weeks in the temperature 4.5 to the 7.5. Then they are again allowed to grow under the natural cooling environments. Under this, what happens? The bulbs are cools after they are make allowed to cools after pottings or in the field itself, or and then they are growing under the temperature outdoors normal temperature. That means they are growing in the natural cooling. We normally the season is the winter months. We are growing in the winter months in the and under the in the natural conditions. Now coming to the controls temperature forcing, that means we are controlling all the climate factors, maybe the light, maybe the temperature and the humidity, everything is under control. So control temperature forcings. Under this, after pottings, the bulbs are cooled at certain temperatures, 17 degrees Celsius and another 4 to 5 degrees Celsius. In the 17 degrees Celsius, we are allowing till 2 to 4 weeks we are keeping under this temperature in a moist soil. Then we are shifted to the 2 to 5 degrees Celsius for the 6 weeks. So this is the productions phase or the treatments to the bulbs for the liliums being given under the systems of the growing phase, that is the control temperature forcing. And in the greenhouse what happens is that the forcings at the bud visible stage. That means in the greenhouse we are shifting to the all the treated plants, they are being shifted at the stage where already bud visible. That means something's the initiation of the flower bud is already visible. At this stage we are shifting to the greenhouse area. Then we are maintaining two different phases of the two different temperatures. One is 17, one is another is the 21 degrees Celsius. 17 in the 17 degrees Celsius of the temperature, what happens under this temperature? After 34 days, the flower starts. No flower, the comes to flowers after 35 days, but under the 21 days of the temperature exposures takes 28 days to the flowering. That means the more higher the temperature, that means the lesser the days it is taken for the flowering. The lower the temperature, the more the days it's required for the flowering. That is program phase or the program system for the lilium flower, the ester lily. Now coming to the leaf counting technique in the ester lily. So by leaf counting techniques, we can have a different the schedulings of the flowerings. We know that by countings of the unfold leaf, how much numbers of the unfold leaf, to that numbers every per day the unfold leaves they are the leaf they are have start opening. So by this we are also scheduling with the peak requirements of the ester lily. So in this what we do, first we are going to select the 3 or 5 numbers of the samples of the pots. Then these are given, these are identified for the uppermost unfolded leaf. The unfolded leaf they are being marked, and then they are identified at the uppermost. That means at the top, at the peak, that is identified and it's marked. Count all the leaves from the base of the plant till the unfolded leaf of the tip one. From the base to the tip unfolded leaf, we count the numbers of the leaf. This is we are used to do in a magnifying lens. Also, we are using the magnifying lens to know the exact numbers of the leaf present in the plants till the tip of the unfolded leaf. So then how many numbers of the leaf we have been counted, they are computed. And what we do is that we are doing this, and then we are again counting the days, how many days left for the Esther's festival to come. So that we, how do we count? We have to count backward from Esther days to the Esther day to the day of the flowering bud should be visible. So 6 weeks is the usual time period before the Esther day. So before the 6 weeks, we are already started our the forcings of the Esther lily, and ultimately we are able to get the desired with a specific time of the Esther day to get lilium flowers. Then divide the total numbers of the leaves, uh, the numbers of the leaf yet to unfold. It means how much they are, the numbers of the unfolds of the numbers of the flowers per day. Then the results in the numbers of the leaf that must be unfolded per day in order to see the flower buds on the scheduled day. That means the scheduled day of the Esther festival. So this is how we are computing. So at the last, in the tabulation also we can see that with the raise in the temperatures, that is in the degree Fahrenheit, the leaf that is unfolded per day at the when the temperature is low, the per day unfold is less, but when the temperature is higher, the numbers of the leaf unfolded is increasing. So in this way, the countings of the how many days we are scheduling for the Esther to come, and also the numbers of the unfold leaf, we are more or less we are coming to that computing, then we are assuming with numbers of the leaf, then the numbers of the leaf presents or the unfold leaf when it's open, then ultimately it has to be exactly matched with the days of the countings of the Esther festival that has been scheduled or that has been reached. Okay, so this is all the same thing, the determination determining the rate of the unfolding leaf, and with that numbers there is fixing then the days required for the Esther festival. They are more or less with having a same numbers of the day, and then this should have much more, the countings of the unfold leaf should also be the same. So this is all about the above, that is given a placing in the routings media under the control rooms. They are being maintained, receiving the forcings ported in the moist media. They are kept at the 7 degrees Celsius. That ultimately 17 degrees Celsius. Sorry, they are ultimately promoting the rooting development. Then these are that earlier I have shown the counting of the unfolded leaf counts all the leaf from the base of the plants to the top of the unfolded leaf. The first pictures that is showing the notes and the countings of the leaf accordingly. Then then against the rooted and also the shoot develops the pockets of the lilium flowers. They are shifted to the greenhouse environment. They are maintained under the greenhouse environment under the optimum nutrients management status, the management practices, and ultimately they are giving a different flower stage developments, bud stage, then ultimately to the full bloom stage. So now coming to the effects of the durations or duration storage of the durations and the temperatures in particular to the lilium flowers. The studies on the effects of the durations, store durations and the temperatures on regulations of the flowers in particular to the elite cultivars of the liliums in the Kashmir regions reported that the numbers of days 48.96 days was recorded at the 4 degrees Celsius with 6 week storage durations. Then more numbers of days, that is 64.9 days, were observed at -4 degrees Celsius with the store uh, 1 week stores durations. By this, we have come to the conclusion that the higher is the storage temperatures and the durations, okay, then the lesser numbers of the days are requiring by a floral buds to appear or the vice versa. So the higher temperature, that is what, 4 degrees Celsius, and it is taking minimum days for a flower the flower buds to be the higher temperature, 4 degrees Celsius, and a more durations of the storage, that is giving a less numbers of the time for the flower bud initiation, unlike low temperatures and the low durations storage giving a much more days requirement. That means much more effective is with the 4 degree and of the longer 6 storage week. Then again with the same in the orientals hybrid lilies, they are stores in the -2 degrees Celsius for a 9 months, and then and they are evaluated under different forcing temperatures. So at a different forcing temperature, they are also being maintained. Longer terms of the frozen storage slightly reduce the numbers of the flowers, while higher forcing temperature, that is 25 degrees Celsius, accelerates flower. That means more flowerings it is occurring with the higher in the temperature, but reduce plant height, and also increase in the floral abnormalities. In contrast to the above, higher temperatures frozen treatments, what happens? Low forcing temperature, that is 15.5 degrees Celsius, produce longer cut stem. That means more the long flower spike you are able to get. Thus, what has that the studies has concluded that the lily bulbs that can be stored at low of -2 degrees Celsius, that can be stored for 9 months while maintaining a good flowers qualities. So this is a picture showing the lilium flowers. One is with the short height, one is with the taller height. So the flowers in the left side, they are maintained in a fan pad cool greenhouse, and the flowers in the right side, they are that is much taller. They is maintained in the air conditioner greenhouse. That is the temperature that is being maintained at 16.5 to 16 degrees Celsius. And then the frozen bulb, they are the frozens, they are stored from January, where receivings on, and then till they are placed till the 5th of the August. So from this we are able to know that the in the the left one, they are maintained in a fan pad cooling system, that is the temperature is higher. So that in the temperature, higher temperature, they are going to a shorter height, but with the this thing with the flowers much more numbers, but in a taller height, that is receiving in the low temperature under the refrigerated air conditioner greenhouse. Now coming to the photoperiodic manipulations, that is the light periods, that the light period, certain light period, that is help in the manipulating of the flowers. What about that is a photoperiod? That is a flowering's response to the photoperiod, that is called a periodisms, and then there is the flower regulations that has a many has a regulation that has, because of they have a good uh, have a good role by the photoperiod. That means our flower is grouped into a certain critical day lengths, that is a short day group of the plants, long day group of the plants, and then a day neutrals plants. So because of the basic day requirements, we are able to regulate our flowers, that is having a good crop and having a good scope in the many of the florist or the florist crop. So chrysanthemum is a short day plants, and these plants, because of the short day, they are having a advantage of allowing the flower forcings. So for the flower forcing, what we need to do is that these flowers, the chrysanthemums, they cannot form flowers when the flower buds cannot form the flower buds when the day length is exceed 14.4 hours, or develop dams when it exceed 13.5 hours. That means 13.5 hour is a critical day length. So the longer the day length, the chrysanthemum flowers, they may not comes to flowers. So it should be not be exceed to the 13.5, but in between say 14.4 to the 13.5, that is a critical day length, it will induce to flowering. But what happens on the contrary to under the normal long day conditions, the chrysanthemums, we have to, if we are need to keep to a to continues with to a flowerings, we are need to artificial sort day. We can keep this artificial sort day by providing the coverings the plants with some materials that ultimately impervious, that means not allowing light to pass through. Such such kind of the material may be the black satin clothes. So this darkened phase should be start from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. So we will be giving a dark hour from 5 p.m. to the 9 a.m. Then ultimately this will allow to sode exposure and induce to the flowering. Similarly, to get a vegetative growth, what we'll do, artificial lighting is provided in the midnight for 4 hours. This ultimately help in the continuation of the vegetative growth during the short day condition during the winter months. So this is the different way of the treatments that is given by that is being given to the chrysanthemum flowers by providing a artificial clothing shadings, providing a dark phase, providing a light phase for the light phase for the vegetative, and for the dark phase for the flower induction. So this is also the pot growing chrysanthemums under the controlled light and under the natural environment. So the natural environments, they are not able to induce the flowers, but under the controlled lights, with the short day conditions, with the short day allowing for this one, the chrysanthemum flowers, they induce flowering. So these are the different treatments of the in the chrysanthemum flowers. The one with the flowerings, that is with the pot with the flowers, they are with the control photoperiods, and the pot with no flowers, without the flower, that is grown under the natural conditions, naturals under the natural light conditions. So this is the with the photoperiodic treatments and inductions of the flower in the chrysanthemum. Coming to the kalanchoe flowers, this is one of the most popular spotted plants. Have some of the studies on the night interruption. So night interruption means by giving a light with the cellophanes, the artificial light being provided for 20, 30, 40 days with 30 to 60 minutes durations on the plant during the plant growth and the flowerings. And the ultimate result is that 60 minutes night interrupts for a 20 days produce compact plants with the minimum height and control the plant spread is also good. So the 60 minutes, but on the other hand, 60-minute, 40 days significantly delay flowerings, flower bud appearance, and then the color breaks and 50% flowering. So thus, what is the conclusion is that 60 minutes night interruption for 40 days can delay flowering, but up to the 45 days while maintaining the acceptable pot plants quality. So this is the ultimately is that the delaying of the flowers in the 40 days, but in the 20 days we are able to get the compactness of the flowers with the plant with the compact means, obviously the compact means the height of the plant is low. So different treatments of the night interruption of the different duration having a different result on the kalanchoe plant. So now coming to the light treatments, white, blue, and a green light treatments into that. This is also the kalanchoe flowers, the effects on the thing. So under this, we are getting some good flowers into the white colors and the green colors and the red colors. They are having a good flowers. Early flowers occurs in the red lights and then the blue light considerably, and then but the blue light delay in the flowerings. The red lights early and the blue lights giving a delay in the flowering. And the in the conclusion that the flowerings of the kalanchoe is mainly controlled by the red light. So now this is also one of the flower that is poinsettia that have a quite roles in the light effects on its flowering. So in the kalanchoe, what happened? I am going to the timeouts, so I may beat up with the speed. So in the month of the September, what happens? The kalanchoe, they are brought inside area where temperature does not falls to a 15 degrees Celsius. These are maintained till the October, and then artificial dark phase is created from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. They are being maintained till the October daily until the red breaks. That means the red break is the one that is the flowers that is at the tip of the plants until it appears. We are maintaining till the October, and start appears from the early October till the mid of the November. We are giving a artificial dark phase till it has developed to a red colors of the flower break. So when breaks completely show a red colors, that is in the early December. They will start in the early December. The plants are again shifted to the ordinary light. The plants should receive all possible sunlight during the day, and during the day also the temperature should be maintained into 15 to 21 degrees Celsius. That means we are providing dark phase from the October to the November month. Temperature also being maintained 15.5 degrees Celsius for the timing 5 p.m. to the 8 a.m. So when flower break color started, it is shifted to the normal greenhouse condition. Okay, so coming to the this is also with the poinsettia. In the poinsettia, what we are doing here is that we are doing the night length, the durations of the night length, and the temperature is given to the flowers of the poinsettia. Flowering increases as the night length increases. With a, 14 hours of the night provided, the night length of the 14th hour, fasten the flower initiation, better flowers development, and improve the flower break color. Shorter, that means the shorter length of the night, especially 11 hours only here, delay the flowerings and also reduce the flower quality. And also the higher temperature during the flower initiation delay the flowerings, particularly in the heat sensitive cultivar. So in the ultimately in the conclusion, extending the night lengths to 14 hours, usually that is being by the providing the black cloth materials help to reduce the heat, and then this also the cloth covering also help to reduce the heat. That means temperature is controlled. So delay the heat delay and then improve the flowering performance. So with the time durations of the night lengths, there is a certain having a the different performance in the quality parameters of the flower as in the case of the poinsettia. So this is how the durations of the night lengths and the flower developments in the poinsettia flowers that earlier I have already shown with the results in detail. This is with the picture representation showing the night lengths and that is the flower development. Now coming to the chemical regulations, what is the chemical? What are the chemical being used for regulations of the flowers? Postpone D and then the psychosils and then MO 16, 18, etc. Had this all the growth retardants promote the initiations of the floral primordiums by reducing the endogenous gibberellin levels. And now coming to the earliest flowering in case of the chrysanthemum, that is 153.5 days was noticed in plant spray with the pecloputrazole 60 ppm and a maximum delay 159.86 days in plant spray with the ethepons. So this is with different concentration and the different plant growth retardants having a different performance in the days of the flowerings in the chrysanthemum. Then coming to the spray of the chloromaquates, that is 10 to 100 ppm starts at the rate 0.25 persons or the 0.4 persons advance the flowering in and increase the production in case of the carnation, while malic hydrazide treatments to the carnation delay in the flowering. Foliar spray of the NAA at the rate 100 ppm help in delaying the flowerings in case of the rose, while spray with the GA3 500 ppm resulted in early flowerings that also in the same rose. Then coming to the jasmines, psychosil treatments with the in the jasmines start flowering early with a means of 35.16 days after pruning. So the treatment is given after prunings against taking 47 days, that is in the control. So in the control taking much more days. This is in the Dharwad condition in the Gujarat, in the Karnataka, with the chemical use, the growth retardants, cyclosil, in the flower crop jasmine. So another peglobutasol, the growth retardant that is being used in treatment in the rhododendron. Here in the photograph, it is showing that untreated plants in the lab are taller and shed fewer numbers of the flowers. But in the right side, the treated with the peglobutasol, they are giving much more short in the height. They are miniature in growing, means they are dwarf and much more good numbers of the flowers. That is with the hormones or the retardant, growth retardants, peglobutasol in the rhododendron. Now coming to the physical regulations with the physical techniques, that is pruning. So pruning, usually what we do, the pruning, this pruning we are doing the in that ultimately influence, that is influencing on the growth, flower bud initiations, differentiations, and ultimately that is giving up in the results, ultimately giving to the flower productions. So by pruning, what happens, this is ultimately help in broadening the CN ratio, thus stimulating flowering. So pruning practice mostly followed in the jasmine flowers. So by pruning different plants in the jasmine flower at the intervals of the 6 months, what happens, we get a staggered flower production. Staggered means steady flower productions could be achieved. That means flowering can be in the regular phase for a longer periods of times we can achieve in the jasmine flowers. Now coming to the pinching, this is most common we pinching practice in the carnation flowers. In the carnation flowers, we have three different types of the pinching: single pinching, pinch and the half, and the double pinching. In the single pinchings, what happens, we do remove the terminal growing tips of the carnations flowers at above 6 nodes, and this is practice is done, it is help in getting early flowering. Pins and the half, what happens, the first pins we have done in all the main branches, then later when is this the pins branches, they have come to a certain growth of the shoot height, they are again pins to a half the numbers of the shoots. Okay, then in this practice what happened, we are able to get a steady flower productions uh, of the flowers later in the season. That means we are getting an extended time period of the flowers in case of the pins and the half of the pinching practice. Double practice, what is that? The double practice, we have done the pinchings of all the main stem later, all the main stem when it has attained the new growth of the shoot, we are again pinch back to all the shoots. This is the double pinchings. By doing so, what happens, we are delaying the flowerings, and also we are getting a too many numbers of the dense growings of the branches. So we are getting a numerous numbers of the flowers in the double pinch practice of the carnation. Thinning. So thinnings, what is this? Thinning is practiced in the flower alstroemeria when they are, this is more mainly we practice to remove the weak stems that is developed from the underground rhizomes of the alstroemeria. This ultimately stimulate rhizome branchings and to get a stagger flower. That means by doing so, we are giving a much more good broad horizontal spreads of the rhizome. So at the later spreads, we will be getting a numerous numbers of the side shoots. Ultimately, you are getting a good numbers of the flower at the stagger phase. And this thinning, it is usually accompanied by pulling out the stem rather than cutting them off. We are not cutting, but we are just simply pulling back the weak side stem that is developed in the alstroemeria. Now coming to the cultural operation, time of the planting. So time of the planting, this is much more important practice in the marigolds, and also we practice in the chrysanthemum. These ultimately help in getting a staggers planting practice we are doing to get a longer durations of the flowering. In the marigold, what we do for getting the flowerings during the late rainy seasons, we are doing the showing in the mid-June and transplanting in the mid-July. And for the winter flowerings, we are showing in the September, mid-September, and transplanting in the mid-October. For the summer flowering crops, we are doing the sowing in the January, February, and transplanting in the February, March. So by doing so, the we are able to get as per the required time seasons. We are have to plant when to do the sowing, when to do the transplanting. This is in case of the marigold to get a staggered planting to get a longer durations of the flowering. In the chrysanthemum, flowering can be regulated by staggered planting from April to August. Okay, from starting from the Aprils, we can go for staggered planting in every month. Starting from the April till the August, we are doing the planting. Then we are getting a flower extended from September to November. Okay, so this is staggered plantings and the longer durations of the flowering period in case of the chrysanthemum. Now, depth of the planting. Depth of the planting also play a very important role in case of the bulbous groups of the plant. The more the depth, the more the time taking it to sprout, so delaying flowering. The shallow depth of the planting will be getting much more uh, lesser to get the bulb to sprout, then we get the early sprouting, then early flowering. So depth of the plantings also play a very important roles in regulating or forcings of the flowers in case of the bulbous groups of the plant. Now coming to the size of the propagator. The larger the size of the bulbs in case of the bulbous group of the plants will be sprouting early and will have a more weight or a more diameters of the bulbous group, the daughter bulbs, I mean to say the small bulbs in the later phase, since larger size of the lilium bulbs have a more less and more numbers of the leaf and of bigger growths, they have a higher daily rates of the leaf unfolding and early flowerings. Okay, so size of the bulbs, that also depends on size of the flowers, biggers of the flowers, and then earliness of the flowers. That is all controlled by the size of the bulb. So we and then the last factor is the genetic factors. So the selection of the cultivars also very much importance to get the flowers, early flowering, mid flowering. That all depends on the genetic compositions of the flowers. By careful selection of the cultivars and then flowerings can be obtained throughout the years. In case of the marigolds, winter season, summer season, daily rainy seasons, flowering cultivars are available. So accordingly, we have to select the cultivar and accordingly, we have to go for planting. So this is the last factors. With this, I have come to the end of the presentation. So I may conclude that as we all know that if we go the flowers in a main seasons, ultimately we face different problem is that we had a glut production, last production. Due to this, we get a less price. And sometimes the production is so high that we are not able to sell. So the flower is still may remain in the mother plant itself or may deteriorate may spoil in the field itself. So to avoid such thing, we have to plant in such a way that we have to force or we have to regulate the flowers in off-season production or the production of the flowers in a desired specific time period. So that by doing so, we will be getting a good price and we will be providing to the flowers to a specific demand with the festival. Maybe in the maybe with the Christmas, December, maybe in the this one in the New Year's. So with the specific requirement, we can adjust the planting for forcing the flowers to get a good price of the fresh produce of the flowers. And for this also we need to know much more different factors. So growth and development of the flowers also mostly depends by the environment, mainly the temperature. We need to know the temperature requirements of the flowers and also the flowering processes. This all better understanding will ultimately help in the forcings of the flowers. With this, I really thanks to all the participants for patient hearings for my lectures on the regulations of the flower in the commercial flower crop. So thank you. With this, I end up presentation. Yes. Hello. Am I audible?
हाँ मैडम you are audible. So thank you so much madam. Any participants have any query?